sometimes some people who maybe they don't have the experience that you have when it comes to suicide or unaliving themselves or even self-deletion, they may ask, well, can't you just talk through it? Can't you just, right? Think of something positive. Can I just give you a hug? And it'll make it all better. But I think that what the disconnect is, at least from my observation, is that when you have those thoughts, it becomes potentially an option, right?
Mhm.
Where some people may think that, okay, if I'm having a bad day, these are my options. It's either I can try to focus on something else, I can busy my mind, I can go outside. Whereas someone who has those thoughts is, yes, I have those three things as my options, but my fourth is this, right? Would that be an accurate way to explain it?
I think that's an accurate way to explain it when you're looking at PTSD and suicide options from an intellectual perspective. And I'd like to throw out there the physical perspective. And when I say physical, I mean in the body. So there's a great book, The Body Keeps the Score by Vanderkolt, and he's online and things of that sort. I didn't believe my therapist when she argued with my therapist when she diagnosed me with PTSD. I was a corporate gal. I was killing it in every other part of my life. I was like, "Have you met me? I don't have PTSD." When she had me read this book, and what I learned is that my body's physical response to current events was really my body's learned response to trauma from way back when. I mean, like 30 years before. And so it's easy to say, mentally, come on, think your way out of it, do something else. But when your body, I want your audience to kind of think of something they know would really terrify them. A lot of people would be public speaking with like 1,000 people or jumping out of a plane, like how your body would start to feel. That's how a PTSD reaction very often feels. It might differ between people, like what actually they feel in their body, but their body gets upset, and that's what's really hard to ignore. You can't, unfortunately, we are not good at like outthinking our body, outthinking our trauma. There's a line, the issue is in the tissues. The issues are very rarely up here when it comes to PTSD. They're more realistically in the body. So it's a real challenge.
It is, and I think that's where probably a lot of people on the outside miss. They miss the physical. It's like I feel this way, right? Because it's one thing, right, to think it, think okay, I'm not having a good day. These are my options, which could include that. But I feel like going outside is not going to help. I feel like this isn't going to work. But this option here, it doesn't
What would
feel as
stop
bad, right?
what would stop the body from hurting like that? Not being around anymore.
Yes, yes. So when you mention the PTSD,
Yeah.
for those who maybe, because as you mentioned, right, you're a corporate person, you're very successful, and you're like, have you met Jill? Me? Right? You know, have you met me? But you were going through it. And some people will look at you and be like, if she's able to go through this, and now here comes the comparison, right? I don't have what she has. I don't have maybe the happiness, the big smile, the big hair, right? I don't have these things. So does that mean that I could be going through it too? So how would you maybe help people identify if they're going through PTSD themselves?
You know what? I think that's a fantastic question because we wouldn't have been able to have this conversation when I was in the midst of my PTSD. Everyone is seeing the highlight reel now. Everyone is seeing the after. And I can totally understand how people would look at me now chatting with you saying, oh, shouldn't have, what is she talking about? They didn't see the tears. They didn't see the year of kind of torment. It's really hard to go into your trauma. That's why I wound up writing the memoir about it, to really explain to people what this therapy is. For me, the signs of PTSD: constant rumination. I always thought I was kind of an anxious person. My long-term partner, Carl, he had kind of regulated my nervous system. So I was always able to kind of talk through things that would upset me, and having an empathic witness would always calm me down. So the rumination, the fear I've just kind of resolved a different kind of fear. I mean, my childhood was based on a domestic abuser who worked to make sure you were scared of him. And so there was always this level of fear, and this fear of making a mistake. And if I made a mistake, my heart rate would go up, my palms, like, and I think my entire life, my shoulders were up to my ears, like I was constantly tense. So what I say to folks is, when they're trying to say, well, how do I really know if I'm having a PTSD episode? Look to your body. Your body, if you can't actually calm your body down to go do something else, I would suggest you might be in a PTSD. I was calling it like a storm. I think there's a video where I called it like a PTSD storm, because that's how it kind of feels for me. It's this like tornado that I just can't calm down. And just imagine living that way for months and never feeling a sense of safety. So for me, it was a lot about, the universe is out to get me. I don't feel safe. I've done everything I possibly can. I have backup plans from A to Z, and yet I still don't feel safe. And if everything I've done can't make me safe, I don't have any other ideas, I'm done. So I hope that helps folks. It's kind of like when you have just these uncontrollable thoughts that on some level are not real, but on another level, boy, they feel real.